Hi guys, it has felt like a long time. It may not feel like a long time to you because I posted 2 days prior, but it was all pre-recorded. It is the beauty of scheduling content. Yeah, it's all been pre-recorded. I haven't actually sat down and recorded anything in over a week, and I really miss you guys, and I wanted to do a special little video. I'm gonna be unpackaging this together. I wasn't gonna open it without you. I want you guys to experience I will be honest, shrinkflation. I got back from a walk today and I got a really red eye, to the point where like my upper hood, I have like hooded eyes anyway, but literally like I couldn't see. I don't even know what I could be allergic to. The rain, it was fine today, and then I went outside and it was like the moisture. I don't know. My eye is fine. It's depuffing. I'm just going to share some random things about me that you probably don't know. And I'll try and make them juicy so it's not unbelievably boring. But yeah, I'm going to open it, and this is going to be like a little celebratory. I've got my coffee. I'm using a nail clipper that has a little blade on it. Oh, it's a box within a box within a box. Can you imagine if I put my name down wrong? Okay, we're not gonna talk about this. Try not to. Okay. I thought it was gonna be pure plastic. And it even has little hangers. You can put hangers in it. Presented to Amy Robinson for passing 100,000 subscribers. I am so mega stoked with this one. Thank you. I'm not going to do an honorary speech because that would just make me feel a little bit pretentious. But well done to us, well done to me, well done to you, well done to everyone for subscribing, because now I can actually put this. I'm so excited about it. Shall I be one of those people that literally has it in the background? I have to be. I have to be. It's literally a perfect spot. It's like I planned it all along. I did. But I think it's going to have to go there. Thank you guys. I honestly did not ever think I would even get to 1,000 subscribers, let alone 100,000 subscribers. I literally didn't. I did not. The very first video that went super viral for me was when I was when I was having a go at Jonathan Jolie, which I feel like everyone should be having a go at Jonathan Jolie at all times. I actually quite like flush, so I'm really sorry, but I'm literally going to put this and scrunch my hair back, and we're just going to have a good old little chat like we normally do. But this time it is me basically embarrassing myself for a few minutes. Okay, so I don't know how long this is actually going to take. But here we go. Why not? Why not look like this when I'm discussing really embarrassing things? Maybe if you're feeling sharey, you can write something random about yourself that you feel like sharing with the class. If it's really out there and ridiculous, I'll heart it, and the most ridiculous thing, I'll pin it in the top comment. And this is my go-to moisturizer, if anyone's ever curious. Probably not. It's just the Body Shop vitamin. It's just the Body Shop Vitamin E. I've used it. I know that Body Shop especially have come under some hot water, and I'm pretty sure most of that is to do with the fact that they like randomly started becoming like a pyramid scheme. They like started doing MOM. Basically, that started happening way after I've always used their E-cream, because it's one of the only things that doesn't severely irritate. Like, I can use it every single day and it doesn't irritate my face. Okay, so it's one of those things where I'm just going to be like, I don't know. I have tried other ones and it's really hard. Okay, so start from the very beginning. Okay, so fun fact about me is I was an absolute tyrant when I was a child. And not just a child, it was a teenager. It was all of it. I cringe. I honestly cringe that was me, and I was an absolute arsehole. Basically, so I was extremely rebellious. I actually went to boarding school for a couple of years. I was meant to go there for the whole of it, as I'm sure their parents, want their children to, because I was quite lucky in the sense that my grandparents, my granddad was a doctor, like they had retirement money, that they had money put aside. My mum went to boarding school, They thought it would be a great opportunity. I lasted about a year and a half, 2 years before getting removed from the school. I was suspended 3 times. And on the 4th one, they were like, do you know what? It's just not worth it. It's just not worth having this girl doing this. And I can safely say that it was not a very fun experience. I was an absolute nightmare. I can't even remember half the stuff I used to do, but it wasn't brilliant. I was just an absolute terabyte of a human being. And I was, in the end, I was removed from the school. But at that time, I was living on a boat, which was a whole issue in itself because I had to try and convince people around me because I was so embarrassed about living on a boat that I told them that I didn't live on a boat. And then I remember like a couple of my friends at the time were like coming around. We're like, I invited them over. For a freaking like a sleepover. I must have been about like 13. I don't bloody know what's happening. Bear in mind, some of those people were like richy rich, like richy rich. And I told them that I lived in this great big house. I didn't. I lived on a boat. Oh my God, that whole situation. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. It was so awkward. It was so uncomfortable because they thought they were turning up to sleep in a house and they weren't. They were literally turning up to sleep on a boat. I can't deal with it. Anyway, beyond the point. So the head teacher, fun story. So the head teacher didn't actually want to see me go because he saw like potential, which, you know, that was nice. But at the time I was just an asshole. But yeah, I didn't want to be there basically. And I was doing everything in my power to get out of boarding school. The head teacher didn't want to see me go, but pretty much all of my teachers hated me. Like, hated me. They hated teaching me. They were like, I don't want to teach her. And the they were called like boarding parents or like the house, I don't know, people in charge of the certain area that you were boarding in, they didn't want me because they were like, she's a liability, she keeps on running away, she's not very nice to the other people in her dorm, she's freaking everyone out, da 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 da. Yeah, so but what ended up happening was that the head teacher actually comes walking down the freaking pontoon, well, like fancy suit, an hour and a half trip visit to this boat to speak to this grumpy ass 13-year-old to try and convince her to come back to boarding school. And I was like, no, I don't want to go back to boarding school. I think the reasoning why I was there for so long was because my grandparents had like invested so much money into it. Basically, I was just an asshole, right? I can't even explain it. You know, the things that I think, right, is that nowadays I take medication for my depression and anxiety. And it's funny because I reckon, I'm a firm believer that if I was on those drugs when I was that age, I don't know what it would do for like brain chemistry development, but I'm just saying that when I started taking my antidepressants and when I went to a lot of therapy and when I started realizing like there are chemicals in your brain that are just not producing the right things, I just think back like how much that would have actually have saved me. Not using mental health as an excuse, but I do often think back and I'm like, I wonder if, because anyway, I cringe. It's true, like when I was a child, I used to literally make up the most random shit possible. Like the most random stuff. And I'm talking like little, like little. I told this lie. When I was like 8, I said that I lived, bear in mind, I lived in Plymouth, which is like a city in the southwest of England. And I said, straight face, this went on for like months. And I was like, yeah, I live on a zoo. Me and my family like run a zoo. One particular person who genuinely believed what I was saying. And at the time I used to play Zoo Tycoon, if you know what Zoo Tycoon is. To back up my story, I used to ring him and I used to be like, hey, do you want to hear the lions? And I used to click on the lions and they used to go like, rah! And then there was this one time where I accidentally clicked back on the freaking home thing and it started playing the Zoo Tycoon music and it was like, do 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 do, and he was shouting down the phone like, you're playing Zoo Tycoon. Anyway, back into more present time. So the reasoning why Sunny is called Sunny, and Sunny is my Doberman, and my Doberman is down down there. I will say basically I'm trying to actually get him to stop sleeping on the bed because my boyfriend also has a dog, and unfortunately both the dogs are bed sleepers, and I was like, do you know what, I can't have this anymore. So he's actually just started sleeping on his own bed, and I'm trying to make it a thing. I dug my own grave, right? I got him and I was like a single Pringle, and I loved the fact that we like slept in the same bed. It was like cool, and there was no one else there, right? Now there is. It's actually a bit of a hassle. People warn me. Did I listen? Not really. I've got two girls, and me and their dad are not together. We split up a few years ago. We would obviously go over boy names. I've always loved the name Sunny. I said Sunny. I was like, Sunny. And I'm not going to share his name, but just so you know, he vetoed my name. And his name was so bad, in my opinion, that I didn't even care that he vetoed Sunny. I was just happy that I got that one veto in for his. So I'm not going to say what it was. And what ended up happening was that obviously we had two girls. And at the time, I really wanted a dog. He wasn't really that bothered about a dog. He was like, I'm at work all the time, so like it'll be you. But he really didn't want a Doberman. He was like, no, you're not bringing a Doberman into the house. And I was just like, no, like you don't understand. Anyway, long story short, it was never going to happen. So when we broke up, I was hightailing it down. I found Sunny. When he came to meet Sunny, he didn't even know the breed. He just knew I got a dog. And so he opened the door and he took one look and he went, is its name Sunny? I was like, yeah. And he was like, of course it is. So that's basically the story. That's the reason why it's called Sunny, but it's Sonny, not Sunny. One thing about me is that I'm obviously very like pro, it's stupid to say, obviously pro environment, pro like, let's sort out this planet, guys. Like, yes, that's me. When I was younger, I used to think of myself as a bit of an eco warrior. And what was the very first job an eco warrior was to get? To work for Greenpeace. So I was bushy, honestly, wide-eyed, bushy tail, going along, like, oh my God. Yeah, so I became a Greenpeace fundraiser. Yes, it is one of those people that stands and goes, hi, can I talk to you for a minute? Hi, do you want to hear about the polar bears? Hi, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm not discounting any of that stuff isn't important. But little old me thought I was making a change, when in actuality, what I was really doing was just trying to get as many sign-ups as possible. So I would have to stand on the street and you'd have to get, it was like 3 a day or something. I think it was like 12 in a week. Basically, you had to try and get 3 and average out to like 12. So if you like 12 sign-ups a week. Trying to get anyone to sign up to anything when they are moving very quickly in a direction is honestly like soul destroying. And I was freshly 18 and we'd have to get up early and they'd give us our train tickets and we'd travel all over the place, like to the southwest of England. We'd go into Cornwall, have my little lanyard. I've definitely got a picture of me on my very first day. I can't deal with it. Anyway, so I did last a few months. Curtain was very much pulled off. The rug was pulled. The curtain was lifted. The veil was whatever analogy you want to give. After doing that, I was just exposed to the fact that from what I was doing, and it's not just Greenpeace, it's a lot of them as well. What I will say is that after working for doing fundraising on the ground, it wasn't about spreading a message. It was about how many sign-ups you can get. And if you don't hit those sign-ups, so if you don't hit 12 a week for 2 weeks, you're gone. Like instantly, you're gone. Doesn't matter how good of a fundraiser you are. Doesn't matter if like the people that you've signed up have like donated loads, because we always used to have to say it's a organization, not a charity. People would be like, yeah, it was just really, and the thing is, you would get hurled abuse. I would get spat at, genuinely spat at, people like spitting at me. And I was just trying to inform people about the penguins and the polar bears and the oil rigs and all of that. And I loved talking about the environment. But the way that they treat the people who are actually trying to get people to sign up is disgusting. And I then started learning about a lot of the way the other organizations also do their fundraising. Um, and it's really similar. I don't know. I thought I was going into it like saving the planet, and actually I was just thought of as a way of like making money. Does that make any sense to you whatsoever? Treat your employees nicer, my guy, because the public don't treat you very nicely. And the employees, like, honestly, I had a manager who was obviously under a lot of pressure from the overheads. So I used to work for for this certain tapas restaurant that I'm not gonna name names. But this certain tapas restaurant, okay. And the owner was this like old guy who drove a real fancy car and was just plain not nice. Like the type of place that you work. This was shortly after I stopped doing Greenpeace, so I was still 18. This was pretty much actually the next job I got because I was at university at the time. I left, yeah, I was at university at the time, and instead of like I wanted to work. I was child free. I didn't have any kids at this point. I was living in Plymouth. I was like, yeah. So I worked. I got a job at a Spanish tapas place, and oh my god. So this guy, right? So this guy, I ended up faking. I ended up making up a lie. I ended up saying that like I was moving away or something, and then it was ultra awkward when I bumped into him like shopping in Plymouth. Anyway, I made up this whole entire lie that I was like moving away to get out of this job. There were cameras everywhere. So when I joined, they had a really large like turnaround of people. And there was just, everyone was always arguing. It was a nightmare. Was half of that food frozen? Yes, it was. What ended up happening was that there were cameras everywhere. And the only place there wasn't any cameras was literally like, oh, the actual like washroom had rats, by the way. Yeah. Anyway, so there was this little like back bit in the washroom that was so small. It had freaking rats in it, and it stank, and it was so hot. And the fan like broke in the summer. Awful. And that was the only place where there were no cameras. You think the cameras are to watch the customers? No, they were not. Cameras were to watch were to watch the people working. It was to watch the employees. And what he used to do, and I have confirmation that this is definitely true because it happened when I was working twice. So he would go back home, sit in front of his massive, great big plasma screen TV, and he would have his phone at the ready. And he'd watch us walk around. And if any of us leant for too long, if any of us had spent too long in the bathroom, whatever, you'd get a phone call to the freaking building being like, hi, could you tell so-and-so to stop leaning or whatever. I would work very often, like, I'm not even joking, like 10-hour shifts. And then I'd try and sit and have some food, and I would get barked at by one of the other people working there being like, you have to get used to it. You know, if you can't stop for lunch, you can't stop for lunch. Anyway, those are just like some of the things. I was literally just like, I just left Greenpeace and then I went straight into this job, and I was like, this sucks. Like, you all suck. Like, that was anyway, so I vowed, because that wasn't the only waitressing job I've had. I was a bit of a crap waitress, to be honest. I did myself no favours. I used to often take orders and then forget to report back to the kitchen. And I just used to go and have a cigarette outside. And completely forget that I had these orders still attached to me. I was not a good waitress, but that is okay because I did go on. I did sport and exercise. I then fell in love with like fitness and sport, and that was my thing. I loved that. I was great at that. Waitressing and that, I applaud waitresses. Like, I literally, I applaud waiting staff. Anyone who works in the kitchen, anyone who does that, like, take my hat off to you. I couldn't do it. It actually, like, was the main cause of my eye that twitches. I started getting eye twitches at, like, because I started working at, like, 17, but I had to work in, like, a bakery. My eye would twitch. My eye would twitch. My eye would just twitch and twitch and twitch. Another reasoning is why I stopped ultimately waitressing, even alongside my degree, was that my knee has a funny habit of dislocating itself. And it's because apparently the bands that cross over my knee are really, they're called TITT something bands. I can't remember. It was ages ago. I can't remember it right. But that they're really loose. Like they're really loose, and because of that, my knee just slides around, and so Yeah, one weird twisty motion will, you can hear my knee go and then I fall over. And the last time it happened was so bad that I literally could not sit on the toilet. I had to like get my mum to like actually hold me. Luckily, it happened when I was down in Devon, and I say luckily because if it happened here, who the hell is going to help me on the toilet? Out with my friends, and I did a handstand, and for some bizarre reason, my knee went. Yeah, I don't know. I'm only 29. Like, how did that even happen? I was like, what? I'm only 29. Yeah, I'm not doing a handstand ever again. Yeah, and she was having to literally like hold me up, like prop me up like that, and I was like, this is really bad. I ended up going to the doctor, to the A&E, and that like I had an X-ray. They were like, yeah, no, your knee's like not broken, it's fine, but they had to then keep referring me, and basically they said the only way that will ever get better is if we do keyhole surgery and we tighten everything up. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, what happens if that goes wrong? I don't know, but it really hurts when that happens. It really hurts when that happens, and people often think I'm making it up because it happens so quickly, and I'm just on the floor, and they're like, "Are you alright?" And I'm like, "No, I can't move." So my biggest, I don't know if you call it a fear, it's like revulsion, is clay, wet clay. Really don't like it. I don't know where it stems back from. It literally like it stems back from like early childhood. I don't like anything that I can't get off of me very easily. So sand, I often will not go barefoot on a beach, which is crazy because I literally live at the beach. I won't go on it. I don't like, I'm really bad with like sensory changes, if that makes any sense. So like I love swimming, but I actually went in the sea for the very first time in years, forced myself to go in because I'm not good with like the sudden change in temperature or the feeling against my skin, anything like that. I'm not, and I've been like that for as long as I can remember. It's a full on like sensory thing, like clay, sand, mud, anything that changes texture on my fingers. I just really don't like it. It's not fun. My guilty pleasures at the minute, even though I was in fact actually sponsored, this is not still a part of that sponsor, but I did get a sponsor with them the other day, and I am so happy that I did. I really would like them to come back to me in the next couple of months so I can actually show off my farm. It's Heyday. This is not sponsored, I swear, but I did do a sponsorship with them. Oh my god, if anyone else plays Heyday, what do they put in that that's so addictive? I have been up at the crack of dawn, like churning my butter. I've got to a point now where I've got the fishing boat, and like I've got that. I'm not gonna bore you guys on with it, but if you know, you know. If you know, you know. I'm at like level nearly 32. It has taken this long to get to level 32. And I'm now like a part of the Heyday subreddit, which is actually kind of funny because they do have some funny things that are going on over there. But that's my guilty pleasure at the minute. Also, there's this program that I'm watching called The Beast Within, or The Beast Within Me. It's about like that writer, and then there's that guy. I'm not going to spoil it for everyone, but that is really good, and I think it's on Netflix, and it's called The Beast Within, or the whatever. That, I think I'm like on episode 5. So good. One thing about me, right, is that I really struggle to watch programs that I haven't already seen before. It's got to be really good. The last thing I was really interested in, I finished watching, it was You. And I didn't watch it when everyone else started watching it because I don't like watching things when everyone else is watching things. Otherwise, it puts me off watching it. So, like Game of Thrones, I never really got into it. And when I wanted to get into it, everyone was telling me the ending was so bad. I was like, I'm not doing that. Because I watched You, the whole of it. I hated that ending. That ending was. I could do a whole video talking about how much I hated that ending for various reasonings. I realised that I'd sent my boyfriend my live reaction to finishing You. I will edit out the spoilers, but I'm not happy. Also, sorry about my cursing. I'm cursing left, right, and centre. I am pissed off.
I'm actually crying. I'm so fucking pissed off. I just wasted hours of my fucking life. I'm sorry. I thought I had another season. That's why I wasn't taking it very seriously. No, I'm actually really fucking pissed off. That is the shittest. I now know what people feel about with Games of Thrones when they ended it. Nah, this is the last time I fucking watch something. I swear to God.
Desperate Housewives has never done me wrong. Never done me wrong. I think one of my things I don't like. Oh, you never really see the side of my room. But, oh God, that's Sunny's bed. One of the things that you won't necessarily like. I don't know. I don't like feeling like I've wasted my time, and I feel like I wasted hours of my time, and it wasn't like what I ended. It wasn't satisfying. I know a lot of you guys do realize, and why this is honestly a hugely monumental, like it's the point where I actually it just I don't know, I can't physically describe just how much that plaque and you guys and this channel really does mean to me. I obviously 2 kids was with my ex, and I was not having a good time. I'm not going to talk about that relationship because that pertains to for the father of my children, and I'm never going to reference him or how the relationship ended or any of that. I'm never going to reference it, but I will talk about it vaguely from my own end and how I was feeling, but I'm never going to talk about him and the inner workings because that's not fair. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy in the relationship. He knows this. I wasn't happy. We both weren't happy, really. But I basically, like, we moved from England and had my eldest. We moved to the middle of nowhere in West Wales, which I still do live in West Wales, but for me at the time, yeah. And we then had my second, and like it just wasn't, the relationship wasn't working out, the whole thing was not working out, and I was like 230 plus miles away from my family. It was really horrible. I remember during COVID, I used to watch a lot of like come shopping with me's and like come like clean with me's, and I used to like watch loads of not family vloggers, but like kind of mummy vloggers, I suppose, who used to kind of vlog about their day, less so like what their children are doing, but just like trying to like feel included. And I remember during COVID, I was literally just like, I was so lonely. I was living on a farm with 2 really little kids. I mean, everyone was having a bad time, but like the whole social distancing thing, the whole bubble thing did not apply to us because I would go months without seeing anyone. There was no one to see. I lived in the middle of nowhere. It was really freaking rough. And my ex was at work all the time. And I always really wanted to start a YouTube channel, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So I just started like posting content like cook with me's, clean with me's. I did a lot of that. A lot of them are gone because some of the, like they're just so bad. I've kept up all of my commentary videos dated back from when. I think there's a couple of cook with me's, but the clean with me's are gone, man. They're gone. They were so bad. And also I don't live there anymore. That's their dad. Do you know what I mean? I don't want it. He still lives there, so I deleted all of them. Posted one like Coney Jolie's video, and it just blew up. It just absolutely blew up. And at the time, I had no money, like whatsoever. It was a very difficult situation. I stayed for a couple more years until the point where it really wasn't working out anymore, and I left. I just left. That was it. I couldn't deal with it anymore. So went for a lengthy, it was a few months of just court battling. It was really, really, really nasty. Once again, I had zero money. I had absolutely nowhere to go. My only option, he was going to keep the house. The only option for me to go anywhere was at a family member's caravan. And so that's where you used to see. I lived there with the kids for nearly 3 years, trying to get, like, I didn't fall under the emergency housing situation. Tried filing like 2 different times, and they would get back to me, and then crickets. I got like universal credit. They let me register under self-employment because at the only time they asked me, they said to me, they were like, well, where do you get any income from? And I thought about it, and I was like, I get like 500 a month from YouTube. And they were like, well, you're self-employed? And I was like, not really, not really at all. And they went, no, you're self-employed. And to be honest, I didn't realize a lot about this, but basically, if you've got young children and you go under self-employed, what they'll do is they'll match your earnings and sometimes double it to fit underneath a certain threshold. So in total, you're not getting much money. But at the time, that is that was a lifeline because I had absolutely nothing. And if it wasn't for that, and if it wasn't for the fact that family, I was having to pay rent, but I was like, it was struggling. It was really freaking difficult. It was really hard. It's like emergency funding. You can organize, you can contact, and they can give you like, I think it's like £80 or something that I had to use twice. You can't use it that much. They do it in Wales. I've forgotten what the actual thing is, but it's if you like desperately need. And yeah, I like ran out of food, ran out of fuel, and it was just, honestly, it was an absolute mess. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff happened in that time period. And long story short, I ended up, because of universal credit matching, I ended up just being able to fully focus on YouTube. And I was able to fully focus on like what I was doing. At the time, I was trying to find somewhere to rent because for some reason the housing they were not getting back to me. I was literally just like, this is insane. And in the end, I mean, I did look around a lot of places. I mean, I was living in that caravan with the girls for nearly 3 years. It was a long time. And I've got nothing against living in caravans at all. But if you've got a big dog and 2 kids, and like, it's just, I felt so bad. I felt so unbelievably bad. And the problem is that if I'd have gone out and if I'd have gotten like a regular 9 to 5 job, their dad literally works like insane hours. So I would not have been able to get kids to and from. I wouldn't have been able to do it. It would have been an absolute nightmare. And the stuff that I'm qualified to do would be irregular hours. Like, I'm qualified working in gyms and personal training and sport coaching. That's what I'm qualified to do, which, unless you work for like a school, it's irregular hours. Now, I came out the other end. I made a video saying that I'd got obviously a house, and I honestly just can't believe my luck. Never really had much independence with the kid's dad and stuff. I met him when I was really young. Like, I didn't have any knowledge of the world. Like, this is the very first time I've ever actually like fully like lived just like by myself with the kids, because in a proper house that doesn't feel so manic and so just all over the show. And I'm so happy that like this year I'm able to do like a really nice Christmas in like a bigger house, and it's mainly been all up for here. I feel like in the past few months my whole like my stress, like my cortisol levels have just like massively dropped. I was just so uptight and so anxious, and I do honestly like question like some of the videos where I'm like filming. Previously, I just, from like a few years ago, I would have like just got back from court, or I would have just had a really horrible phone call, and I can see it in my eyes. I can just see like something's not quite right. I was looking back through some videos and I was like, yeah, you look like gaunt, you look stressed out. And yeah, I feel like now I just feel like everything has come into place, and this plaque is a really lovely reminder, is a encapsulation, is that the right word, for all the difficult times and all of the struggles, and also a lot of really good times as well. I think it's such a like, it sounds so freaking cheesy. It's more than just a plaque, right? It's more than just a plaque to me. Like, it really is. It's a symbol of trying, is what I'm trying to get at. It's a symbol. I don't look at it and just think, oh, it's like a number. It's like, oh, I've hit that milestone. I look at it and it's like, I did it. Like, I actually did this one thing that I was like, I do give up on quite a lot of things, and I have done in the past. It's only things that I really, like I said, like things that if I really, really, really try, I can get there. But I end up just giving up on a lot of things, and I'm just so happy to actually be able to put it on the wall. If you enjoyed this video, I know it was really long. I can yap. right, I can yap. Usually when I'm filming videos, obviously I've edited them down because I'm trying to get out information. But if you give me a microphone and a headband, and I can yap. If it's not about something that I need to research, that is going to get right on there. That is so exciting. I'm going to get to work editing it now. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.